I just look if anything is working right now. That's what I'm doing. For the people that are curious, I am not ready to being started. I don't see my stream. And a bit weird. Right. Alright, people. I'm going to talk today a bit about the victimizer's mindset. My name is aggressiveness, and this is my channel. Now you can see I'm better. I think the light is a little bit better now. I sit right now on training ball for yoga. That's what I'm doing actually. The topic of today is the victimizer's mindset, passive aggressiveness, victim blaming. One thing what you see when you deal with oppressive groups of people is that they often blame the victims for their own misery and their own circumstances. You see it with misogynistic men who blame women for being sexual harassed because the way she dress. The way you dress does not mean that you want to be harassed. Guys, you need to learn that. But sadly, there are a lot of men that actually make excuses for it kind of behavior. The story goes like this, for example. Um, a woman is dressed in a certain way, and actually people were saying that she asked for it because she was dressing like a certain way. Even somebody's dress is only marketed like sexy because of our societies actually have raised us. So basically, it is your perception. If you were raised in China, maybe you did have a foot fetish instead of a breast fetish. And you will be attracted to girls who show their feet on the stream instead of the booby streamers. Just saying. You also see kinds of passive-aggressive victimizer behavior in other groups. And what you see with the victimizers, for people that don't know what a victimizer's mindset is, the victimizer's mindset is basically an arbitrary mindset that default certain groups of people and were animals, and because of that, it is most of the time the dominant and systematic protected group. It is often given a free pass to be jerky. Mm? For example, the misogynistic man does it when he talks about women and say that a woman cannot do or dress or certain thing like a man does. It is also society is also oppressive against certain men who want to be dressed more feminine, and in this way, in this regard, um, since that women can dress more masculine and they are not blamed for it, it is still a part of actually defining actually feminine traits and actually following masculine traits. In our society, we often follow very masculine, dominant traits in leaders. Even often, those led to extremely bad situations. Because many men that actually are, and one of the traits that's stereotypical masculine is risk taking. Risk taking is basically the pokering mindset, the gambling mindset. It is a chance game. It is not playing safe. It is used in huge infestations and actually putting all your money on it instead of playing it safe and growing sustainable instead exploitive mindsets of exploitive grow. Explosive grow mindset is capitalism, and that is dominantly, I will say, toxic masculine trait, extreme grow. It is narrow-mindedness. Therefore, I will say that a person now have more the feminine traits of being actually more safe with the resources and don't do stupid large investment that can lead to bankruptcy. even if it is quite easy to not get bankrupt if you are a multinational. If you don't understand what I mean. But about the topic of veganism. You see by non-vegans often that they are getting a bit passive aggressive when it comes to veganism. For example, they say that vegans like me, and maybe also you, force their opinions onto others. This is an accusing tactic used often by people that have something to hide and have in the mind of something that they are ashamed of, but they don't want to admit it. And therefore, they're trying to let you look like if you are at least as guilty as them. So they can associate with you more, and that you don't have the right to blame them for stuff. What you also see by oppressive people is that, for example, you see it with alcoholics, cocaine addicts. I don't know if you ever have actually, what if you ever live with them or if you ever have interact with them. You often see that there are not a very rational compassion or actually talking when it comes to their own addiction. Addicts are terrible people. They are narcissists. That's the word I prefer to use for them, because addicts only care about themselves. They're totally disregard, if they are aware or not, the feelings and needs of others, and force people with threatening to hurt others, and if they don't get what they want. And often we are, in our culture, give them what they want, because we are a society that cares about oppressors. And if you don't believe me, look around the world. Look to what we do to the most innocent, defenseless living beings on the planet. Animals. Look how we actually make the punishments of criminals that have done the worst things like mass murder, mass rape, genocide, hate crimes, war crimes. Look how we treat them. And then look how we treat the victims of them. I just say, those people should not be allowed close to the ones that have ever abused. Those people should be all forever being changed and some or sent to another country if they ever get the chance to make an pleas and move forward. Victims of domestic abusers, rapists, mass murderers should not be forced to interact with their oppressors. I think that's an absolute disgusting act of some countries. Imagine that somebody have raped your sister, raped your wife, raped a friend of you, and that person, you have to be forced to be nice to it because you have been punished for 4 years in the prison system. Punished in that system. What kind of mental trauma do you think that can go up with people who are abused by that, or people that care about people that are abused by those people? The apathy, I say. Apathy is greater you can ever imagine. Also, Have you ever watched or read information about domestic violence? Do you know how most domestic abusers are? They're passive aggressive. They blame the partner, don't take responsibility for their own wrongs. Um, they think their own experience is completely null, want not to rationalize their own behavior. In a way, domestic abusers are a bit of a narcissist. And I think some of you maybe find that I've misused the word narcissist a little bit, too much. But it is a spectrum disorder. And by my standards, most people can be classified as narcissists because most people are not vegan. They cause unnecessary harm to innocent living beings. Animals are innocent living beings, if you want to believe it or not. They have never harmed anybody in their whole life. They're totally innocent. And don't make shit up. Victim blaming. People blame often animals for their own misery. They'll say, if I say, for example, if I was those animals, I did not let myself be killed. And then they totally take themselves out of the scenario. They totally refuse to imagine all the trauma and all the mental attacks that's been done onto the animals to bring them in a kind of Stockholm syndrome relationship with the harmer. Because they give them food, they give them shelter. And even if you find a farm somewhere where they actually treat the animals nicely, and you say it's not like it is not like a Stockholm syndrome relationship. Graham, you are totally out of your mind. How dare you to say that? If you find truly a farm there, don't abuse the animals. Don't rip the babies away from the animals. What I don't believe, because that's a necessary aspect of many parts of the animal agriculture industry. The only reason there is veal is because of the dairy industry, because those babies are stolen from the mother and they don't make enough money for the beef industry to all stay alive. So they raise them in 4 to 5 months to become veal. Just saying. But if you find a farm where they actually treat the animals nicely, even if you find something, maybe something somewhere in the past, the greatest betrayal is even worse in this situation, because that animal's treated good and nicely, and then the person how they trust, the person how it was thinking that did care about them, sent them to a place to be executed, screaming for their blood and asking for help. But the people that raised him, that he believed or she believed that protect him or her. But then you do nothing. You let him be killed. You let him be slaughtered. Those people that claim this kind of stuff, that care truly about the animals, that are good, nice, compassionate people, that truly cares about the animals they kill, are just as sickening to me as people how to adopt children for the only reason that they can molest children inside of their own house. For the record, I don't support child molestation. Don't be stupid. That's one of the most evil things you can do. But don't let me start about that. I'm against oppression. I'm against systematic oppression of disenfranchised social oppressed groups. Since animals are the biggest group of systemic discriminated living beings on the planet, how have not even a voice in politics, how don't can vote, how don't have somebody how vote for them, or a party that is 100% in their favor, because a political party that is 100% in the favor of the most oppressed group on the planet will probably not even get votes from vegans and from many apologist vegans, because they will probably demand that people who are responsible for the animal agriculture are being treated like the Nazis were by the Great Process in Germany for their war crimes against the Jews and Gypsies and mentally ill people of Hitler's genocide. If so, people, it is time we will actually open our minds, open our eyes. If you are not vegan, you are responsible for animal cruelty. If you want to accept it or not, anytime you eat dairy, you pay somebody to molest a cow and forcibly masturbate a bull, and the stealing of a baby calf from his mother, who is being turned in veal. Anytime you buy eggs, you pay people to breed baby male birds into existence, and then some other scummy throws those baby male chicks in a rendering machine so they can be executed and mauled alive in the most horrific way you can imagine. Anytime you buy eggs, you pay somebody to raise chickens, how can be very cute and have very complex social structures if you have actually if you actually done your research about it. I have more than 40, if I remember good, total different vocal sounds where they can give different clues about stuff, about if there's something scary, if there's something what's fun, or food, different vocal sounds for that. Victim blaming. Victim blaming is when people blame the victims for their own misery, for their own suffering. Totally disregarding their own part in the suffering of those victims. Victim blamers work like this, and also in a way in our society. When people say, "Don't be a victim," sorry, but sometimes you don't choose to be a victim. You cannot choose to be a victim if you are the shit. If you have not, if you have bad social skills, if you have some disability that you can less good interact with people, if you get fast exhausted because of some social problem that you have, sometimes you are truly a victim. Help those people. Don't blame them. Try to inspire them. Try to let them find the parts that there are good in, that they can use. Instead of saying, "Don't be a victim, don't be a victim, don't be a victim." It helps not the people who feels like a victim in the scenario. And I know that. Because I was bullied in school. And therefore I know how it feels to be a victim. A true victim. I don't talk about people, "Oh, I have a pimple," kind of a victim. "Oh, my skin isn't a bit inflated here. So I'm victim." No, I mean truly not nice things that are happening to me on school. I was bullied and I was thrown into a toilet. People did put me in those large iron containers, boxes, where you put the trash in. Those were big, large, square metal with two on top. And many other things. Where I not want to go in detail right now. Because maybe I'm gonna to cry and I don't want to cry right now on the stream. Because I've still some trauma about some stuff. If you are not a victim, don't imagine it entirely from your point of view. Because if you are not a victim, it becomes pretty easy to mock your victims, make fun of their entire existence, label them stupid and dirty, say that their life don't matter at all, say that they are just a thing for you to use, say that they are ugly, disgusting, their brain is full of shit, say that they are should prove to you why you should be kind to them. Say that you are more beautiful and therefore you have the right to test them. Say that you are more gorgeous, that you are so much more important than another. And therefore you have the right to take some of the privileges of somebody else. Because you find yourself more important than them. No. Like Aryanism. The Aryans of Nazis Germany, I call them the neo-Aryans. Because the original Aryans were Arabs. If you look to history. The word did come from what we today call Iraq. From that area, what we first did call Mesopotamia, Uruk, and the like. But yeah, what I want to say, those mindsets are also the mindset of a Ku Klux Klan member. Ku Klux Klan members believe, they are convinced that white people are superior than black people. Now, I say that's totally crap, because you don't can classify it completely race as more superior than another one based on skin color, on pigmentation. There's some attitudes I think are better than others. For example, being kind to animals is a better quality than being cruel to animals. Be not a rapist is better than be a rapist. Be against child molestation is better than be apologetic for child abuse or committed yourself. But if you are, like I did say, if you are place yourself in the victim's position, something I wish people will do more. If I wish that people were more willing to protect victims of oppression. For example, I wish that more men actually will believe women will actually accuse some man of sexual assault. Because according to statistics I have seen online, around 19% something like that of all the rape accusations are true. So, and there are also many women that are afraid to come out because men will blame them and say that they lie about some dude that other men even don't know. And there are a lot of misogynistic men on the world. I can tell you some stories of women that have been kicked in the face by her ex-husband here in Europe, even. And what did the police, when she did go to the police to report him? They were saying that she hit herself to disfame her businessman husband. And she was totally shocked that the cops actually did come up with this kind of horseshit. Sorry for horses. I should say just shit. I can also tell you other stories if you want. Of that some woman did tell me. And those are consistent with the statistics I ever have seen about it. Also, some one out of four women is sexually harassed. One out of six men or something like that, but those are mostly homosexual men harassed by other homosexual men. So then the blame is still by men. So I think then those men that are truly the victims of sexual harassment should also have a bit more sympathy with women, because the majority, the vast group of women are actually assaulted by men and are maybe accusing some men or a majority of men because of certain actions, because she did have actually been in those situations. And you denying that she have been molested, sexually assaulted by some man makes her probably think you are the kind of man. That you are the kind of man that abuse women. So think about it, people. What kind of sign that gives by those people that are actually sexual abused by other men? That think you are the type of man that sexual assaults women. If you are not, don't feel offended. Because then you make it only more hard to get molested sexually in prison. And if you are the victim of some crime, if you are molested and you've been terrified of your oppressor, giving them a fair and a completely fair and equal treatment in the law system is helping the oppressor. Why? Because the oppressor feel no guilt, feel no embarrassment. Well, the victim is ashamed most of the time, feels scared, feels judged, and we also live in a toxic sex society where a man's value is often viewed on the amount of sex he have with women instead of his personal character, the way he treats those women. If he's a good guy, if he is a respectful guy. I think many men have a lot of housekeeping to such society against some woman. But that are not the people that you call crazy feminists. Some of them, maybe. The ones that deny that animal agriculture is a totally sexist business. Why do I say animal agriculture is a totally sexist business? If you want to, I do a video in more detail about this topic, say it in the comment section. But for now, animal agriculture is a totally sexist business because it is built on the reproduction organs of other animals. You can see a video of Joey Carpstrong, also more about that topic. First, mother cows have to be pregnant to give milk. Imagine that you are raped, that somebody takes your milk and say it is okay because other people drink your milk. How will you feel in this situation? Not fine. Is it not? I think you want that this evil shit stops immediately. I think you want that the people that are responsible for your rape get punished. you never have to see them again, and that they get a fair hand of mercy from the devil and being tortured or something like that. And I completely agree with that.
Farmer who is holding a vial for collection. Reality. Mutual respect. Doesn't mutual imply both parties are consenting? Animals are not capable of giving consent, just like children. Some bulls are still producing viable sperm at 14 years old. 14 years of sex slavery. And what happens to the stud bulls when you're done molesting them? They get retired to the local slaughterhouse and get turned into steak? This is painting a very disturbing picture already. Another disturbing way to retrieve semen from stud bulls is through electroejaculation.
We've examined the bull, everything, so we're ready to do the collection. So Dr. Carpenter is going to place the probe in the rectum for us.
And according to veterinary sites, electroejaculation is now the safest and standard method of semen collection used by trained veterinary surgeons in the UK. The process goes as follows. A large probe is inserted into the rectum of the restrained animal as it delivers a current of electricity into the nerves of his anus until he ejaculates into the hand of a vet or farmer who is holding a vial for collection.
And this is what I mean with the forcible masturbation, with the iron pin in the ass of the bull.
It's not comfortable for the cow to have an arm shoved into her near shoulder deep.
This thing is called, by the way, in rape rag. It is used to don't let the cow can escape, so the vendor can easily put his hand in the anus of the victim cow. It is, I think, in the porn industry they call it breaking, when men actually vandal woman to actually in a kind of sick, mentally ill way enjoy to be molested in a kind of actually train them into a mindset of Stockholm syndrome. That's how I think that's the best way to actually explain what a pimp means with breaking, and what also horse riders also mean with breaking of the horse. Well, it's a type of training that horse trainers do when they actually make the horse actually being confident that being abused by putting bit in their mouth and a saddle on their back. If you have an untrained, unbroke horse, most likely he will not tolerate putting a bit in his mouth or a saddle on his back. He won't very much protest and will kick you off without a doubt, because horses are not made to be ridden.
So they have to be held down for safety reasons, apparently. One of the most disturbing parts of this whole process is the cow's age. We're talking about very young, vulnerable animals. How confused and scared they must be. With the help again of the popular Farmers Weekly magazine, here's a step-by-step process for the legally sanctioned sexual abuse of cows.
On the farm, our first choice for breeding our cows is artificial insemination, which is the veterinary procedure of placing semen into the uterus.
First, stick on a full-length arm glove and lubricate it. The farmer or vet will prepare the cow by wiping clean her vulva with a paper towel. Now, they'll form a cone with their fingers and insert their arm into the rectum of the cow while keeping the towel aside. Of course, not forgetting to work out any excess poop.
Here you can see there's manure inside the rectum. So the first thing I'll do is clean out that manure and then try to clear out any air or anything. From here, I can clean out any manure that's in their rectum.
For the record, try to imagine how you will feel if somebody do something to you. If somebody put a hand in your anus, so the other shit come out of your ass, without your consent. Imagine how you would feel if somebody do this to you. And say then again that that animal harmers are not disgusting perverts. Place yourself in the position of the animals. That's how we can make this world a better place. If people stopped caring about oppressors and start to care about the oppressed, if we stopped victim blaming, if we stop this mindless victimizer mindset from and stop playing this game of some are based on my criteria deserve to be found, and others they don't belong to my criteria, and therefore I can arbitrarily decide that there are not worthy of protection and respect. Bullshit. They have a right to life, no matter if you want to accept or not. They are with us. They are not for us. It is time we stop this mindless robotic state of saying, "Oh, it is legal, therefore it is justifiable." Slavery was legal, in apartheid, raping of black women was legal. Check out my video on YouTube where I basically rant for 7 minutes or so about all stuff that was legal and that was totally disgusting. And here's also a bit about this passive aggressive mindset and then victim blaming mindset and the victim blaming mindset. Blaming a victim because of the situation. If you say, "Oh, those animals that have done it on themselves," if their ancestors did not come to be so docile and being so easygoing, then there will not be in these situations. Of course, there's some kind of appeal to might fallacy or the passive aggressive behavior of them from you can choose to be vegan, but those force me to be vegan. Sorry, but you force your opinion on somebody else. Don't play me for stupid. I know how's the victim in this scenario. In the scenario is the one that get the punishment. It's the one that get the blade. It's the one that get the baby stolen. It is the one that's systematic oppressed and turned into an object. You are not. Stop playing games with me. It's time to change. Veganism, animal rights, it's the way for the future. If we want to be treated with mercy, why should we not start by giving mercy to the ones that are most oppressed, the animals? What have they done ever in our life? It's not fair to expect mercy, if you ask me, and the victims, when you're not willing to extend the least amount of mercy to your living. You don't have to care about animals to don't abuse them. You don't have to care about people to don't be a serial killer. Get a life, get a reality check. The jury is out. Vegans are more moral superior than non-vegans. Not that that help the animals much, but it is a fact. If you look logical, compassionately, and with empathy in your heart, you will see that vegans are morally superior than non-vegans. Just like people that are not rape are more superior to people that rape. Just like most people are more moral superior, I guess, than NAMBLA, North American Man-Love Association, Man-Love Boy Association, a group of openly pedophiles who try to legalize pedophilia. Those people are disgusting abominations as well. But as long as you are not vegan, technically, you have no right to complain yourself. Chickens are killed on the age of 1 to 2 years. They can live up to the age of 10. Cows around the age of 5 in general. Sometimes in some countries 7. But then their milk production often started to decline because of over milking and painful others and that kind of stuff. From being constantly pregnant and giving milk, this brings habits onto the body, and I think most women can understand how pregnancy is not fine for your body. It's not the nicest thing for your body. Do I agree, girls and women that have children here? If there is somebody watching it, being honest, you don't have to be lying to me because you want not men to feel bad about stuff like that. I know you. And I've heard many women saying that pregnancy is painful. So imagine how it is for all those pigly and all those cows.
Branded with paint to show that they have been successfully mounted by the ram. When these sheep are no longer a profit to the farmer, they are all of course sent to be brutally executed and decapitated in the slaughterhouse. All I see here is human domination, manipulation, exploitation and violation of vulnerable and defenseless animals so they can be murdered for monetary gain. All you need to do to really see how disturbing and unjustified this behavior is to put yourself in the animal's position.
Again, ever heard an alcoholic and cocaine addict talking clearly, rationally, and compassionately about his addiction, his own addiction? Of course not. And there are also not also the same with non-vegans, specifically when it comes to anti-vegans. They cover their own cruelty with passive aggressiveness, victim blaming, large doses of victimizer mindset, and threatening to hurt the victims their abuse when you don't go along with their demands. This is quite frankly terrible behavior. I think it's should be punished greatly. I think no victim should be suffering because of one rotten root or rotten stick. I think there need to be consequences for your actions if you not seek help. And those consequences should be there, should be there for absolutely. Being an addict is a choice. It is hard to change if you are an addict, because you are constantly rush of adrenaline and dopamine of the substance you abused. But if you are actually do it, if you actually succeed, then you have something to be proud of. You kicked off from that high boost of adrenaline and dopamine and become clear again. Being a better person. Sorry, I cannot have it in my heart to feel any empathy or sympathy for abusers. A drug abuser is an abuser. And what happens often? The people that care about them get abused by the abuser. Get beaten, get lied, get scammed. The abuser of the drugs don't take responsibility for their actions. Sorry, I need to say this, so I need just to say it. If you are addict, please search for help. Don't abuse others. Don't abuse the people around you that love you. Truly seek help. Don't be toxic. Don't be toxic. For the people that wonder why I'm moving around a little bit, it is because I sit on a balancing ball. Because I'm thinking I'm going to take up some yoga again. I need to only make some space in my house so I can do it properly. Did get a little bit hot and wooden backside because of my chair. I'm sitting for large time periods on my chair because of editing and also sometimes streaming, because I stream also on Twitch and World of Warcraft sometimes and Final Fantasy 14. Right now I actually enjoy Final Fantasy more than World of Warcraft. I don't like the new expansion that much. I'm not that much into raiding, that kind of stuff. I like the art style more. Fantasy. But yeah. Appeal linked to a traditional mindset is also some aspect of the victimizer mindset. Because most victimizers have a tendency to be controlled, and tradition is often controlling, control of a certain behavior. So you cannot have truly open-minded conversations with somebody who is too traditional, especially when it comes to gender roles. I think gender is more a bit fluid thing. Some men are more masculine than others, and some are more feminine. According to the test I have done on the internet, I around half. I think the last test I was doing on that for the just for the fun is that I did say that I was around 45% feminine and the other percent masculine. So on some, I consider myself also to be non-binary. So I don't consider myself to be either. Actually, I consider myself to be something in between. But I don't care actually about that so much. If you want that I talk about that stuff more, and maybe that I bring some veganism into the discussion also, and maybe that's fun. So can learn you maybe a bit about certain animals that can change the gender, or certain animals that have no gender, because there are animals that have no gender. they're produced asexually. Maybe some of you find that funny. Sorry. I think I will go soon. If you are interested in hanging out a little bit more with me, after that I think I'm gonna to do some dailies maybe. I don't know what to work on, so you need to go to my Twitch. My Twitch. I will have you now put in this. I don't know what you mean. 40. 40? Is that your age? Are you 40 years? If you want, for the people that are watching my stream right now, if you want that I do more videos in this topic, go in more detail maybe on this different topics, and if you want that I talk about a specific topic actually that have to do with the victimizer's mindset, passive aggressive behavior in oppressive people, and victim blaming, I can do that, and then I try to be more prepared and can give you maybe some more examples. For now, I wish you a nice day Subscribe to my channel. Peace begins on the dinner table by what you eat on a daily basis. If you are not vegan, you abuse living beings. I don't want to be a victim. They want to be safe, they want to be happy, that's what they want. How do you dare to take their freedom away so you can have a steak or a sandwich with their corpse? Peace begins on the dinner table by what you eat on a daily basis. How can you say that you care about justice and equality when you take away the lives of others only for that couple of minutes of hope, taste, pleasure?